Look, let me guess how your financial life feels right now. You open your banking app, you stare at the balance, and somehow, no matter how hard you work, no matter how many hours you put in, it never seems to cross that first real milestone. Maybe for you, it's $1,000. Maybe it's $5,000. And every time you get close, something happens. Your phone breaks. Your bike needs repairs. A random expense you definitely didn't plan for just shows up and wipes you out. And you think to yourself, how do people even save money? Because here's the frustrating part. You hear stories all the time of people going from $50,000 to $100,000, from $100,000 to $500,000, from there to $1 million. And you're sitting there thinking, if making money is so easy after a point, why does my first $5,000 feel completely impossible? If that thought has ever crossed your mind, congratulations. You're not bad with money, you're not lazy, and you're definitely not broken. You're just stuck at the hardest part of the entire wealth building curve. And today, I'm going to explain exactly why that happens, using math, psychology, and a few uncomfortable truths most people never hear. Introduction, exact line included. My name is Jack, and one spend way too much time thinking about how to make first $1,000. Well, if you're someone who struggled to make first few dollars, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. And seriously, this channel exists because nobody teaches this stuff clearly. Challenging the biggest assumption. Here's the thing. Most people assume money grows linearly. You make a little more effort implies you get a little more money. You save a little harder implies your balance slowly increases. That assumption is completely wrong. Money grows non-linearly, and this misunderstanding alone is why so many people feel stuck for years. Here's what most people don't realize. The first $5,000 is not hard because you don't earn enough. It's hard because you're fighting against math, psychology, and systems that aren't designed for beginners. Let me show you what I mean. The statistics that put this into perspective. According to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, nearly 40% of adults can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. Let that sink in. Almost half of people don't even have $400 saved. Now here's the part that really matters. A study from Fidelity Investments found that once households cross roughly $10,000 to $15,000 in savings, their net worth growth rate accelerates significantly compared to those below that level. Translation? The money starts working with you instead of against you. But before that point, everything feels uphill. Why the first $5,000 is so brutal? The math. Let's break this down with real numbers. Say you earn $1,500 a month after expenses, and you manage somehow to save $300 of that. That's 20% savings, which is already above average. At that rate, $300 per month, $3,600 per year. It takes you over 16 months to hit $5,000. And that's assuming nothing goes wrong. No emergencies, no health issues, no job disruption. But life doesn't work like that. So every setback feels like it erases weeks or months of progress. That's why the first $5,000 feels cursed. Not because you're failing, because the margin for error is microscopic. The psychological weight of small numbers. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Your brain treats small balances differently than large ones. Behavioral economists call this mental accounting. When you have $300 in savings, your brain labels it as emergency money, temporary, already spent. So the moment something goes wrong, your mind justifies using it. But when you have $50,000, your brain reclassifies it. That's wealth. That's security. That's not to be touched. Same dollars, completely different behavior. This is why rich people stay rich and poor people stay stuck. Not because of discipline, but because of perception. Why $50,000 feels easier than $5,000. Now you might be thinking, okay, Jack, but that doesn't explain why $50,000 feels easier. Fair question. Here's the uncomfortable truth. At $50,000, time starts doing the heavy lifting. Let's say that money is invested modestly, nothing fancy, earning 7% annually. That's $3,500 a year. That's almost $300 per month generated without lifting a finger, which means your money is now matching what most beginners struggle to save manually. That's the flip. At low balances, you work for money. At higher balances, money starts working for you. The snowball effect nobody talks about. Think of money like pushing a car. At the beginning, it's dead still. You're straining, sweating, barely moving it an inch. That's the first $5,000. But once it's rolling, every push adds momentum. By the time you hit $50,000, the car is moving fast enough that you're just guiding it, not forcing it. This is why people who've already made it often sound out of touch. They forgot how heavy the car was at the start. Story: two people, same income, different outcomes. Let me tell you a quick story. Two people, same job, same income. Person A saves $200 a month inconsistently, sometimes skips, sometimes dips into savings. Person B automates $150 a month, smaller but consistent. After 3 years, Person A has about $2,000 saved. Person B has over $6,000. Same income, different system. Here's what most people don't realize. Consistency beats intensity at low balances. The hidden tax on being broke. This part frustrates me, honestly. Being broke is expensive. If you don't have savings, you pay higher interest, you miss discounts, you make short-term decisions. A report from Bankrate shows that households without emergency savings pay hundreds to thousands more per year in fees, interest, and penalties. So when you're trying to save your first $5,000, you're fighting an invisible tax the wealthy never pay. Why motivation alone doesn't work. Look, motivation is overrated. If motivation worked, everyone would be rich. What actually works is environment design. Here's what I mean. If your savings account is connected to your debit card, you will use it. That's not a willpower issue. That's human nature. So stop blaming yourself and start building friction. Actionable steps you can apply today. Let's get practical. Step 1. Separate your first $5,000. Open a savings account at a different bank. No card, no instant transfers. Make it slightly annoying to access. Step 2. Automate before you see the money. Even $50 per week beats $300 when you remember. Step 3. Track net worth, not income. Income motivates effort. Net worth motivates patience. Step 4. Increase income before cutting joy. Most people try to save their way to wealth. That's backwards. Focus on earning $200 more per month before cutting essentials. Addressing the big objection. Now you might be thinking, Jack, this sounds great, but I barely earn enough. I hear you. And you're right, income matters. But here's the twist. Your first goal isn't wealth, it's control. Control over cash flow, control over emergencies, control over choices. Once you have that, everything else accelerates. Why this stage is worth it. The first $5,000 isn't about money. It's about identity. It's the moment you stop being someone who reacts and become someone who plans. And once that switch flips, $10,000 doesn't feel impossible. $20,000 feels realistic. $50,000 feels inevitable. Strong ending and call to action. Look, if you're struggling right now, I need you to hear this clearly. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're just at the hardest part. Most people quit here. If you don't, if you just stay consistent a little longer, you cross the invisible line where money stops feeling like a constant emergency and starts feeling like a tool. If this video helped you understand why you feel stuck and what to do about it, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because once you understand this, you can never unsee it, and that changes everything.